Good morning, Year 2. It's Miss Addy. I hope you all had an enjoyable half term and you're ready for another exciting week of maths. Our learning question for today asks us, can I describe the properties of 2D shapes? Our steps to success say, I can locate and count the number of sides, I can locate and count the number of vertices, and I can explain what a quadrilateral is. Our first star word is the word sides, and sides are a property of 2D shape. You may already know what this word means, but don't worry if you don't because we're going to explore it later on. We have the words straight and curved. These are words that we can use to describe a 2D shape's sides. We have the word vertices and we have the word quadrilateral, which we're going to find out a little bit more about later on. So what is a 2D shape? You might already know of 2D shapes, you might know some examples of 2D shapes, but do you know what 2D shape means? 2D shapes are shapes that are two-dimensional. Can you have a go at saying that? Two-dimensional. This means that they have length and width, or that they have height and width. Have a look at this rectangle here. We can see this rectangle has height and we can see its width. We can see its height going vertically and we can see its width going horizontally. So height and width, this is only 2 dimensions. 2D shapes have 2 dimensions. 2D shapes do not have depth. This means that 2D shapes are flat. Have a look at this cuboid. This cuboid is a 3D shape because it has 3 dimensions. It has height and width, like the rectangle, but it also has depth. But don't worry about that because today and this week we're focusing on 2D shapes. Here is a word map with lots of 2D shapes. Some of these 2D shapes may be very familiar to you. Some of these 2D shapes may not be so familiar to you. Pause the video and have a discussion with somebody in your house about which 2D shapes do you already know of and what do you know about these 2D shapes. Our learning question today asked us if we could describe the properties of 2D shapes. Properties means things that make up something. So the things that make up a 2D shape. And we know 2D shapes are made up of sides and vertices. Can you say that? Sides and vertices. 2D shapes have sides. Sides are the line segment that joins 2 vertices in a shape. That sounds very confusing, but if we have a look here at the picture of the rectangle, we can see the rectangle, the sides have been labelled on it. How many sides can you see on the rectangle? Great, we can see 4 sides. Sides can either be straight, just like in the rectangle, we can see each of those sides is a straight side, or sides can be curved, just like on this oval. It doesn't have straight sides, it has one curved side. What is this shape called? How many sides does it have? Great, 4 straight sides on this square. What about this shape? What is it called? How many sides does it have? 1 curved side on this circle. What about this shape? What is it called? And how many sides does it have? This one is a trick question. This semicircle has 1 straight side and 1 curved side. So it has 2 sides in total. 2D shapes also have something called vertices. Now vertices are also known as corners. So when you were in reception in year 1, you might have referred to a 2D shape as having corners, which is correct, but this week we're going to call them vertices. Can you say that? Vertices. Now vertices are the point where 2 sides meet. Now one vertice has a special name. It's called a vertex. Can you say that? So on its own, it's a vertex, but together they are vertices. So have a look at this triangle. How many vertices can you see? We can see 3 vertices, and this is the point where 2 sides meet. How many vertices on our square? Can you count them? 4 vertices. How many vertices can you spot on this circle? 0 vertices. Circles don't have any vertices, and that is because circles only have one side. So there can't be any vertices as they only have one side, and we know that a vertex is when 2 sides meet. How many vertices can you spot here on our semicircle? We know that the semicircle has one curved side and one straight side. It also has 2 vertices. Here we can see triangles. Now have a look at the labelled pictures of the triangles. You'll be able to see the sides labelled and you'll be able to see the vertices labelled. We can see 3 sides, 3 straight sides, and 3 vertices. What shape is this? Do you know what shape this is called? It's called a hexagon. Hexagons have 6 straight sides and 6 vertices. We can see by the labelled picture where the sides are and where the vertices are. I always remember that a hexagon has 6 sides and 6 vertices because in the number 6 we've got the x sound, just like in the word hexagon we've got the x sound. Pause the video and have a look at these 2D shapes and have a look at their properties. How many sides do they have? How many vertices do they have? Now we're learning a new star word today. Can you think back to the star words and which one we were going to explore later on? It's the word quadrilateral. Can you have a go at saying that? Quadrilateral. Now a quadrilateral is a shape with 4 sides. So here we've got some different shapes, but they all have 4 sides and they are all quadrilaterals. Have a look here. All of these shapes are quadrilaterals. And they're quadrilaterals because how many sides do they have? They each have 4 sides. Can you spot a circle? Can you spot a triangle? Can you spot a hexagon? No, and that's because those shapes do not have 4 sides. So if a shape does not have 4 sides, it is not a quadrilateral, but each of these shapes are quadrilaterals. Have a look at the different shapes on the screen. If a shape's sides and angles are all the same, then it is called a regular shape. Pause the video and see if you can spot any regular shapes on the screen where all of the sides are the same. If a shape's sides and angles are not the same, then it is called an irregular shape. Pause the video and see if you can spot any irregular shapes on the screen. So let's go back to thinking about our quadrilaterals. Now remember, quadrilaterals are shapes with 4 sides. Have a look at these quadrilaterals here. We have a square, a rectangle, a trapezium, a rhombus, a parallelogram and a kite. Which of these shapes are regular quadrilaterals? Remember, that means that all of the sides and angles need to be the same. Have you spotted it yet? Well done, it's a square, because squares' sides are all the same and their angles are also all the same. If we know now that a square is a regular quadrilateral, which of these shapes would be irregular quadrilaterals? A rectangle, a trapezium, a rhombus, a parallelogram, and a kite. All of these are irregular quadrilaterals because their sides and angles are not the same. So let's remind ourselves about the properties of 2D shapes. 2D shapes can have sides and vertices, and we can count the number of sides and vertices that they have. We can describe the sides as curved, or we can describe the sides as straight, and we can think whether a 2D shape is a quadrilateral or not a quadrilateral. So let's just play a quick little quiz to see what we have learnt about sides and vertices. Here is a circle. How many curved sides? How many corners? 1 curved side, 0 corners. What about this triangle? How many straight sides can you see? 3 straight sides. How many corners? 3 corners. What shape have we got here? It's a square. How many straight sides? 4 straight sides, and each side is of equal length. How many corners can we see? 4 corners. Remember, this square is a regular quadrilateral. What about the rectangle? How many straight sides can we see? 4 straight sides, and each opposite side has the same length. How many corners? 4 corners. This is also a quadrilateral. This shape is a trapezium. How many straight sides can you see on the trapezium? 4 straight sides, and similar to a rectangle, 2 equal length sides. And also 4 corners. This trapezium is a quadrilateral. This shape is called a rhombus. How many straight sides? 4 straight sides, 4 equal length sides. This rhombus has 4 corners. This rhombus is also a quadrilateral. This shape is called a pentagon. How many straight sides can you see on the pentagon? 5 straight sides on a pentagon and 5 corners on a pentagon. What about the hexagon? How many straight sides can you see? 6 straight sides and 6 corners. Your task for today, Year 2, is I would like you to have a go at writing your own 2D shape riddles. Here is my example. I'm thinking of a shape. This shape is not a quadrilateral. It has 3 straight sides. It has 3 vertices. What shape am I thinking of? Do you know what shape I'm thinking of? It's a triangle. So what I've done now is I've written some clues describing a 2D shape, and I didn't write down the shape until the very end. This was my example of a triangle. Can you pick a different 2D shape to write your own riddle? Have a go at using the words sides, vertices, straight, curved, and quadrilateral. Enjoy your task, Year 2. Goodbye.